From the finish line of Pittsburgh's fugitive Race for Your Life mud run.
You're watching a show with Zay Frank. Woo!
So it's election day and there's tons of crap swirling around, and on these days I like to imagine these candidates as men. It is just men now. Hopefully soon it'll be women, but I like to imagine them just as men. Little things like maybe they realize they have an itch on a hard-to-reach place on their back, or they forgot to shave a little patch next to their lip. And maybe he, it doesn't matter who, right now is looking for the bathroom. The Secret Service standing in front of that door is new. He doesn't recognize her, and she looks stiff and bored. He smiles and opens the door. Be careful, I might drop a bomb in there. She smiles. Good. Sitting now, he notices a little tag on the inside lining of his suit pants, maybe left from the dry cleaner, edging up onto the hairs above his knee. It reads 537. He laughs. Maybe that's a bad sign. It's getting hot in this little room, but at least it's reserved just for him. But there's nothing to read in there. He'll have to mention that if he wins. Otherwise, there's no one to mention it to. So his eyes wander across the grout between the tiles on the wall. And maybe now he's sitting again in the loud room on a beige lounge chair, hunched forward. And this moon-shaped, reddish-faced man with a tight collar approaches him with a plate full of those little cubes of cheese. Any serious person in the room would have realized that they were there just for decoration. He vaguely recognizes this red-faced man, was once told in a hushed voice to ear that he was important somehow, but he forgot how now. But he's important enough to be in this room. And this man is talking too loudly even for this loud room, and he says, hang tight while he eats his cheese. We're gonna get there. And our candidate sits back slightly in the chair and feels the muscles of a smile tighten across his face. That's right, that's right. We repeat ourselves when we have nothing to say. And now the man's gone, and he shifts to the side to get his phone out of his back pocket, but it gets stuck on a button and it's pinched between his butt and the seat, and he has to shift again really forcefully to get it out. And he turns the phone on. It's a prop. There's nothing really to do. And he stares at the background picture, and it's a picture of a lake. Incoming alerts come in covering up the picture, and he dismisses them one at a time to see the trees, the leaves reflected on the water. He takes his free hand and he rubs his eyes, pinching the bridge of his nose, and he sees those colorful little pressure spots on the back of his eyeballs. And he hears his wife's voice moving up behind him, speaking in that deliberate and serious tone that she saves for dinner parties in rooms like this. And he keeps looking down at the phone, at the lake, trying to disappear, and he feels his wife's hand on his shoulder, just resting there for a moment, her thumb curled around the back of his neck under his collar, the smallest hint of pressure pinching the cotton of his shirt and the smallest arch of his neck back to meet her. And he feels the warmth of her fingertips start to swell out. The room is cold by design, and there's a furnace inside of her. And with his eyes closed, he imagines the two of them old, laying side by side in a dark and quiet room. White curtains, maybe it's fall, maybe the windows are open, dark shadows of a lampshade across the wall, the smell of candles and maybe some old books. It's not a memory, it's a wish maybe. And he'll be awake and he'll roll to his side and lay an arm into the curve she makes. And in that moment, he'll feel that same warmth, that same heat, and how that heat will mean life. And then somebody spills red wine down his shirt, and he's like, what the fuck? Happy Election Day if you're in the US. I hope you voted. And remember, we're all peoples. This week, my favorite photographer, Bill Wadman, has another challenge for you. You'll find the mission link in the description.
For this week's assignment, take a picture of yourself holding a photo of the person you miss the most.
Bye, bye. You guys do that.
Why did you farewell so long? It's the bye-bye song.